from the station that's on your side. This is News 12 at 6 o'clock.
A biomass facility has set their sights on Augusta. Now members of a historic church and the Riverkeeper are speaking out against it.
And neighbors in North Augusta saying later gator after a large reptile made their pond his home. But first, we are tracking some scattered showers on our First Alert radar network.
And that wouldn't be the worst news, Riley. It is really hot out there today.
Absolutely, guys. Another day hitting the much more on that coming up in just about 10 minutes.
Riley, thanks. New at 6 o'clock, we now know the name of this young victim who died from a rare brain-eating amoeba called Naegleria fowleri.
Her mom tells us 17-year-old Megan Ebenroth was a straight-A student at Thompson High School, president of the Beta Club, vice president of the Spanish Club. And Megan's mom says she was treated at Doctor's Hospital, and then the Children's Hospital of Georgia also fought aggressively to save her life, but it just wasn't enough. This amoeba destroys brain tissue really quickly. It can lead to swelling and death. It's usually found in soil or warm freshwater lakes, rivers, or ponds. It's very rare. A lot of times you get it when the amoeba goes up your nose, but doctors are concerned with the temperatures climbing. We could start to see more of these cases more frequently. But coming up tonight at 11, we're going to hear more about this sweet victim whose mom says she was her whole world and her best friend.
Also new tonight, 400 students at Augusta University will have to live off campus for the fall semester after flooding damaged parts of Oak Hall. The university says they found more damage during renovations. In fact, if you remember, Oak Hall flooded twice back in the spring, once when the sprinkler system disrupted there. The university will give students new campus shuttle routes, residential assistance, and on-site security for these alternate housing locations. We're not sure where they're going to put the students, though. After renovations and inspections are complete, they expect the group of 400 should be able to move back in during the winter break before the spring semester.
More than 40 people. Also new tonight, the Augusta Commission approved the construction contract for the Broad Street Improvements Project. The price tag, more than $60 million. In February of 2022, city leaders announced the changes to come. More green space, seating areas, and bike lanes are all part of the plan. And leaders say they're going to approach this project in phases, block by block, and they've already gotten started. You might have seen that construction work happening. Broad Street will never be completely shut down, and they're hoping to be finished by 2025. A pesky alligator that made a home in a pond off West Martintown Road in North Augusta is now in the hands of South Carolina DNR.
We told you about this 8.5-foot-long gator last week. Audrey Dickherber is live for us at the pond on Lina Drive with how neighbors are feeling now. Audrey.
Yeah, the alligator has been caught, and now I'm actually able to walk around freely in the backyard, which wasn't a case a few hours ago. You can actually still see some of the aftermath over here of where the alligator crushed some of the plants. Sally's world has been turned upside down.
It's just been a big mess. It's still an inconvenience for me and my neighbors. It's just been difficult.
She has been scared to go outside because of an alligator taking over her backyard pond since last Thursday.
I'm still on pins and needles. I can't walk out in my backyard. He's not afraid.
Today, South Carolina DNR was able to come out and deal with it.
They may be unsafe, they may be aggressive, they may have been fed and habituated to people, but something that's happened that the public is unable to coexist with that animal. And so when that happens, unfortunately, we do euthanize those animals. We have nowhere to put them.
They captured the 8.5-foot-long gator.
With this warm weather, we're seeing alligators move around quite a bit. You know, they're trying to get places. They're trying to escape the heat just like we are. You know, we try to stress to people that alligators are a natural part of South Carolina's environment.
And now it's finally over.
Relieved. It's an unimaginable relief that he's gone now.
The first thing she'll do is let her dogs out and
we can go back to somewhat normal lives. But I'll still be wary and I'll still keep an eye out in case this one managed to call up a mate.
South Carolina DNR told me that they had to euthanize it because of its size and because if they were to relocate it, alligators know to go back to places that they've been to before. This is why it's extremely important to contact them if you think an alligator around you is a potential threat.
Yeah, they have basically giant homing beacons, so that is no longer a problem for her. Thanks for sharing that story with us, Audrey.
Also this evening, 2 people recovering after a small plane crash near the Sandersville airport this morning. The FAA says it happened just after 9 on Kaolin Road next to the airport. That pilot, by the way, 67-year-old Daniel Misnard of Florida. His passenger, 69-year-old Timothy Fisher of Ohio. The FAA says they crashed into a pond there. The Washington County Sheriff's Office says they found them in a wooded marsh. They were airlifted to a couple of separate trauma centers after reporting neck and back pain. The plane was a Velocity twin engine. The FAA and NTSB are both investigating.
Federal money meant to help out during the pandemic is running out. Local rental and utility assistance programs are in the process of wrapping up with little to no funding left.
But the need for homeless people greater than ever now. News 12's Hallie Turner live in our newsroom. And Hallie, what are local leaders actually concerned about right now?
Yeah, Richard, they're worried we're going to see even more people experiencing homelessness out on the streets without any safety nets in place to help. And what started as a temporary fix is now revealed an even bigger issue. Larry Murray is a recovering alcoholic and knows firsthand what it means to hit rock bottom.
I became homeless due to drugs and alcohol. I've used my responsibilities and the people that were trying to help me, my family. So they said it's time for you to go, and that started my homeless trek.
It's hard to climb up from the bottom, but it's possible with the right resources.
Fortunately, I found those. It's just been a wild ride for me, but they've helped me get on my feet. They gave me some stability.
But that stability is at risk. Garden City has to come up with hundreds of thousands of dollars to keep their doors open. Right now, they house 60 men a night and help hundreds more.
It's a heartbreak every day to see the people in the situations. Even though we can't house them, we still try to help them. But that just makes everything so much harder for everybody.
On top of one of our few shelters at risk of closing, rental assistance from the pandemic has dried up. So if those at risk stumble, they may not have as many safety nets there to catch them.
Things happen. You fall, you trip. You got to have something to pull you back up, an anchor.
With inflation and a local housing crisis, the fear now is what happens when the money, never intended to last forever, runs out. Brittany Burnett with United Way says they've helped thousands since 2021.
Fact that over 2,500 families in Richmond County have literally been able to keep a roof over their head and avoid eviction through this process.
And those funds are expected to wrap up in the next few weeks. But in the meantime, United Way of the CSRA tells me they have multiple programs to help get you a job and transportation so that you can keep the lights on in your home. And if you want to find out more, we'll have a link on our website at wrdw.com.
A lot of good people are trying to help. Hallie, thanks for the update there.
The goal to get more pets adopted in Macon County, hopefully getting a little easier. How a dream turned into reality. Next.
And we are tracking storms across the central CSRA. We'll let you know who has that best shot for wet weather the rest of tonight, and also those rain chances moving forward this week, coming up just after the break. And we should stay with highs in the mid to upper 80s.
Riley, thanks a lot. The Aiken County Animal Shelter getting set to open a new building that will hopefully make adoptions easier.
Our Will Volk stopped by to check out the new Paws building to learn more about the new space.
This has been a dream of photos in the county for years.
Kathy Cagle is excited to have this brand new building.
We've always wanted a quiet place for adopters to come and be introduced to animals, and this is really a dream come true.
This is what the rest of the shelter sounds like, but inside the Paws building, it sounds like this.
They can introduce your dog to one of the shelter dogs in a very safe environment, a very calm environment, so we can make the right match for everybody's home.
The building has a room for cats, 2 meet and greet rooms, and a big room for playtime. Cagle brought in Ty and Dot to test it out.
They've been alone all night, so they're just craving attention, I think.
As you can see, they're having a good time. She says that's what this building is for. They want to show you what their animals are like outside the kennel.
They're lonely. They're sad. So coming in here and having fun and getting socialization with people is huge.
It's a new building that could help create new homes. Swarmed by puppies, Will Volt on your side.
And there will be ribbon cutting Friday at 3 o'clock at the shelter. So if you're interested in adopting, Cagle says the shelter is full and most adoption fees are being waived.
Perfect time to do that.
Great time.
Okay, the court system playing a key role in the Washington Road Homelessness Initiative. We look at what happens after deputies make contact with people who need help.
$99. Call or visit online today for your free estimate and beat the heat with Cool-Ray, your local Repro partner.
Tonight we're learning about the court side of the Washington Road Homelessness Initiative. Accountability Court is a program aimed at helping repeat offenders connect to resources. As our Wrdw reports, details about how cases will be managed is still up in the air.
The Augusta Judicial Center is going to play a key role in the new homelessness initiative. Now, this is where the next step in that process happens as they work to get people off the streets. On Washington Road, we're in the third week of the Richmond County Sheriff's Office's new initiative to get people experiencing homelessness off the streets. The big question, what happens after deputies make contact with people at these businesses?
He, as the sheriff, can bring a lot of the participants together that are needed to solve that problem.
Nolan Martin is the court administrator at the Augusta Judicial Center.
I think everyone should be concerned about homelessness.
He's helping us understand how Accountability Court is the next step for people picked up in this initiative.
They're diverted from traditional prosecution and held accountable for those charges, but with that, we begin to address the root causes of substance abuse, mental health.
After deputies make contact with people on the street, Martin says that the DA's office acts as the screener to determine if that person is charged or eligible for Accountability Court.
And I believe the sheriff is in a good position to bring all those entities to the table to discuss that broader issue of the socioeconomic conditions that have caused homelessness.
Those entities include bringing in social workers, the Department of Public Health, and even educational facilities to get people on a better path.
You know, if you send someone to prison time after time and you don't change their paradigm, you don't change their education, you don't change their job skills, you don't change anything about them, they'll get out and return to the life that they once led, and that's the nature of recidivism.
In Augusta, Will Rio on your side.
And we checked with the Sheriff's Office to see if they have any data on how many people they've come in contact with and referred to the court system so far. They tell us their Intel division has no records created.
On your sideline.